Hi guys, welcome. Today we're gonna do a multiple eyeshadow review, kind of like this stuff. So I've bought quite a bit of few shadows because it's on sale. So this one is a Revolution Forever Flawless eyeshadow. This one is the Revolution Reload Iconic Division, which is a dupe for the subpart culture. Oops! And this is the Pixi by Petra Ultimate Beauty Kit for Edition. And maybe we should add in with like the last one, the Australis eyeshadow neutralized nude look. So I'll be doing a few looks with them. I will be like maybe doing 2 looks for each eyeshadow, so I can do 1 look for this eye, 1 look for that eye, and so we will be doing 8 looks. 8, gosh. So please subscribe, like, and comment down below, and click the bell button to get all the notification that you should get from my videos. Click. Ow. Click. So let's get started with the video. So I will be priming and like filling under eye concealer using the new supersize conceal and define full coverage concealer using the shade C8.5. So it's like my foundation look weird, looks great. It's just the concealer, nothing is wrong with anything. It dries really quickly, which is nice. Not applying mascara in between looks. And then some powder. I'll be using the Maybelline powder. To set this, okay, it's matte and nice. So to start the demo, we'll be using the cheapest one of the 3. It will be the Revolution Reload Iconic Division palette, which is a green yellow palette. Okay. So maybe I should do warm look and a cool look on one eye, on each eye. So to start with, I'll be applying this brown shade on the outer corner of this eye. This is like a neutral kind of like brown color. Into this very yellow orangey shade, and then blend this to the crease. To give some golden warmth to the crease. I don't know, do people like to watch me blend, but I'm not cutting this or like speeding like this up, so it might take some time. This shade is really nice. The cool tone shades are weaker on this palette, so actually I don't really mind that they are weaker in like performance, but okay, sorry, I'm picking up the black. I don't mind that it's not as strong because this is like very cheap. So I'm using a black to deepen out the crease. Sometimes I mind that they're like not performing when they're like very expensive like eyeshadows. If they're like not that expensive, okay, so if these eyeshadow costs like they cost like one single eyeshadow from the drugstore. I remember this palette usually costs like $8 in AUD, and it's on sale, so it's $5.60. Not saying that $5.60 doesn't mean much, but it's not that expensive. So I'll be using this copper shade using my fingers. The shimmer shades are really creamy and they have a lot of payoff. This one is mostly matte. Okay, and then continue to blend the black. I think the black is not really bad. It's just not the best one. But this whole palette costs like one eyeshadow from the drugstore, from like high end as well. They cost like one palette costs like them, and they perform fine. They're produced made in China under license, so they're made in China. They have mica, they have talc, they do contain dimethicone, and they do contain paraffin liquid drum, so that's like paraffin oil, which some people don't like, and when they're in products. So if you don't like those kind of like ingredients, stay away from this. Well, admittedly, okay, I want some more of that bronze shade. The warm shades are fine in this palette, I have to say. Really nice. So this is a really dark smoky look, like bronzy, smoky eye kind of a look, which I think it's really fine. And let's highlight the inner corner using the white shade, which not the best shade in this palette, but it works. Okay, so I've tried this shade, and this is really nice. This is really nice as well. This one is fine. This one is not that great, but usable. So I'll be doing a cool tone eye look in that eye, and I will start with like the green shade, I will use the green shades. And I will use the brush. Like there will be transfer of like the first blend, so these shades are more difficult to use. I'm using the third shade in the first row. And these shades are just difficult to make, so you can see that it's not that like pigmented. I'm not editing this out, so I just picked up some more. It's a bit choppy, blotchy, but I can work with it. It's just that I have to blend. Which expensive eyeshadow doesn't mean that it will work like magic, but usually they are better. I can see that the center is a bit lighter than the corners, which I mean, eyeshadow at the price of a single eyeshadow, I don't know what to expect. So I'll be using this shade, the third shade in the bottom, grabbing a base powder shade so I'm just packing on the color. This is more like gray, but like if you want to like really pack on the color, like use a dense packing brush and then blend. Sometimes that works better, or just pack it on. This shade is much nicer. Like, I'm not using any fancy base here, I'm just using the concealer and powder. Nothing fancy. Okay, this shade is much better. You can see some fallout here. So I just effed up. So this is really dark and I blended way too high. And I just use a fluffy brush just to clean out the edge. So I'll be using the green shimmer shade here to do like sort of like a halo eye. It's sort of like sealing, I don't know, maybe. But let's see, it's really chunky. I don't see any fallout from this side, but I see some fallout on this side. The warm shades are working better than the cool shade, so you can see it's not picking really well. I have to like sweep. just packing this on. It's not full, this shade it's not full coverage, it's some skin is peeking through, I think. I'm not trying to like fuck up a look, but that's just live. I'm picking up the black again. To smoke out the look. Let's pick up some more depth shimmer. This one definitely you have to use the finger. It's a lot thicker. I bought this knowing that this palette won't be like the best to use. You can see this side is way no good. I feel like the green turns out really gray. It's more like a gray eye look than a green one. If I take more time, it will look better, like with this eye. Try to fix the look. This is just not as blendable. So I will swatch some shade here. Like actually these warm shade they work. It's just that the green and the gray shade just not as great. So if I swatch this, yeah, it's not great. This shade works, and that's the gray shade that you're seeing. And this is a dark green shade, which it works. The first shade that I'm grabbing a lot. Let's see again. It's really tough to blend. You can see it's not as. This is the weakest one out of the three. Like, let's pick up the yellow shade, this yellow shade. I have a towel underneath. This is the yellow shade. It's a lot, it's blending into my skin, but it's a lot stronger. It doesn't have, like you can see it gathers in the center and it's weaker, but this one doesn't do that. And then the more peachy shade, it's way better performing. So out of like the most of the shade here, this one is the weakest one. This is not the strong one. This one isn't strong as well, but it's $8. I think if you need something that this color scheme, I would recommend you to buy something a little bit more expensive, but overall I will recommend this one since it's fine. The next one, let's talk about this. I really love this palette. It's a warm tone palette, but well, then I can do one eye with like pink shade, one eye using the bronze and gold shade. And let's get started again. So we will start with, what color do you want? Like, okay, let's start pink with this eye. So to start with, I will use this pinky shade called macadamia, which is a pale pinkish color. I'm using a Fenty brush. This pops on shadow really quickly. And then I will use the shade below called Cherry Ripe. This shade. Then just put it in the outer corner. And then just blend the shade in. For the crease, I'm using a crease brush. I will be using the second row third shade called Almond Cluster, which I don't know if it's a movie shade, but well, just a name. Knock off the excess blend in the crease. I do things out of order, and it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just that I'm doing things out of order. So the third shade that I'll be using will be, I want it to be pinkier and movier, and I'll be using this shade called Passion Fruit Cream. Using a bigger blending brush. Pack it out on the other corner. This shade is just a darker and matte and more movie sister of like the shimmer shade. So this is way pinkier, peachier look. Not peachy, pinkier, strawberry kind of like look. And for the inner corner, I will pick up this extremely sparkly shade called Salted Camera. So this is like very intense high impact kind of like shimmer metallic. So there's some fallout on my nose. Not really serious, anything like the Real palette from the real iconic Division palette from Revlon, not Revolution. So the next eye I'll be doing will be a bronzy kind of like a look. So I'll pick up the shade Mocha using this brush. The third shade, the last shade in the third row, and just pack on the shimmer. It's way more orangey when you apply. It looks very bronzy here. It looks a bit more orangey when I apply this, and then I will use the next shade next to it, shade Cinnamon, which is a shimmer shade as well, which it looks darker than the shade that I just put on. Like I'm doing some really simple look. Blend in the shade together. So that's a quick, easy look, but we will try other shade, more shades. So we will use the shade Toffee. I pack on a lot because I use this for a really gray tone shade and I don't want the gray to come out. If you have color switch, use a color switch. Just put it under the crease. Buff it in. For the inner corners, we will use a mixture of the third row ganache and the shade Coconut in the inner corner and like the front part of the eye. So it's like a gradient, like from a really light shade to a golden bronzy eye look. So I pick up both of the shades. This coconut shade, it's nuts. It's nuts. Okay, I might have to switch brush for that shade. I don't think the shade it's the problem, it's just it's just that the light shade is really prominent in the on the brush. Both looks really similar. I just did a really similar kind of a look with like a lot of the colors, like this shade here, this here, this two, this one. So it's really nice, this palette. I feel like this is a very versatile palette. Every shade here, it's really nice. I've tested the black and the store, it's real opaque. So this performs better than like the drugstore. I think it's L'Oreal black eyeshadow and Maybelline black eyeshadow. This one performed way better than both of them. Not the best one I've tried. The Too Faced, the Tarte one are better than this one, definitely. But I mean, a black shade usually you don't have to be like. I don't want it to be gray, but if it's opaque and you can like pack this on, I feel like if you like pack this on and then you blend and pack and blend and pack, definitely you can like build up the intensity. It doesn't swatch gray, it's just not extremely fully opaque, but it's blendable. So sometimes you want a black that's like black, like it just doesn't budge. This shade, it's more like a smoky shade here, and if you really want a good black shade, maybe buy individual eyeshadow that is a black. Usually high-end does black fine, not luxury high-end brands. So overall this palette is really nice. If you love bronze, gold, kind of like that modern renaissance kind of like a palette, or I would describe this as like gold texture, no, rose gold texture eyeshadow palette from Huda Beauty. If you want to try some of the color scheme, you can try this one. I think it's really beautiful. So I'm back again. So we will be using the gigantic palette from Pixi. So it's that big. So there's like the warm side and the cool side. And one eye would be, I would do it for the cool side one with the warm side. And there's blues and purples are weaker. In this palette, it's more difficult to make, and I do understand like the difficulty to use like the blues and purples. So if you want to buy this palette, just FYI, purples and the blue here are not what you would expect from high-end eyeshadows, and this is not something that you would try. This is not something that's like wowing anyone, but it's adequate. That's what I would say. Haven't tried the black here. Let's see. I would say it's a bit stronger, but I've like blended that one out. I haven't blown that one out. Okay. I would say it's slightly stronger performing than the Australis one. So let's start with the blue and ashy eyeshadow, which I really like ashy shades. Am I weird about that? So let's start with the Aquamarine Dream row. The last row, third shade. So this is the sixth row. I'll be picking this blue up, and I will do it on this eye. So this one does the thing like the powder pigments from Makeup Geek, where they look pigmented, but they're not as pigment as you like put them on. But this one is better than the Makeup Geek one. You just need to layer it on. I don't mind layering eyeshadow. It's just taking more time. It looks really nice on the screen, but in real life this looks nothing like, no, it looks like the eyeshadow but less opaque. So I might be performing a cut crease here. Just might be. Maybe I will do that, maybe not. Depends on can I find, okay, I find this. I'll be using the shade here, this one, the fourth row, third shade in the Aquamarine Dream palette. Again, this one isn't a strong one. I've tried this earlier today. This one compared to like Makeup Geek, this one is way weaker. The Makeup Geek one, it performs better. the blue back on again. Looks fine. So the next shade that we are gonna use is the silver blue sky, the last shade, sixth row, fourth row, sixth column shade. No, sixth row, fourth column shade here. This is a dark blue. Let's see. Okay. That's doing something. Okay, it definitely deepens out the corner. Like this, does impress me in some ways. So for the crease, I'll be using the full cut crease. I'll be using the shade from the Honestly Aura shade. This is a purple row, the first row, first column shade. This one. To put it into there. This is like a matte shimmer shade. Meh. No. Let's swatch some shade here. I haven't tried some of the shade. I haven't tried the 3 rows here actually. So let's see the silver shade. Ooh. Okay. This silver shade is nice. Let's see this shade. Again, a similar tone kind of shade. Okay. It's nice. So the shade that I just tried is just bad, but the palette, let's see other shades. So the purple, I think the purple is weak, yeah. Shades gloopy, not like extremely opaque, not extremely like pegboard color. Let's see the shade that I just used to deepen out the crease. Not a bad shade at all. Let's try 2 more. Let's see this shade, the second row. No, the 5th row, second column shade. I know I pick up quite a bit and I'm using a lot of pressure. Yeah. Let's see the lighter shimmer shade from the second row, second column shade. Not a strong, not the strongest like showing. I mean, it's for the price and the things that you get, it's good. That's what I would say. It's not the best product I've tried. So for this side, it's a lot more shimmery than I like, but let's try. most of them are satin. Okay, let's do it really smoothly. I'll be using the shade from the Plum Quartz, which clear this is not quartz. This shade here, the last shade, 4th column, 6th row shade. I'll be using a brush. This seems promising. Okay, yeah. Quick and easy. And then the next shade that I will use, this is like a one eyeshadow eye look, which I don't want. I use this shade, the first column, 3rd row, and I will use my fingers. Just wanna put it in the end corners. This is really nice. I'm just using a brush to slightly blend the look. Okay, don't use the finger that you should put. And then for the last step, I will use the Opal Glow, this 3rd column, 4th row, this shade I'm just picking up. And then I will just put it in the corner. This side is much better with like things I've tried. Let's clean the fingers. Let's watch a bit. So let's watch the rich gold, the gunmetal shade, which I think it will definitely work. Yeah. Okay, let's clean some of the smudge. This definitely works. Okay, let's see the Opal Glow shade. This 3rd column, 1st row shade. This shade. This is like the satin shade that I'm talking about. Nice. Oh, you can see this is nice. Let's see the dark shade. The dark satin matte shade, the 4th column, 3rd row shade. Seems fine. Really rich. Oh, this is nice. And then let's test out this purpley shimmer shade, the last column, 5th row shade. Oh, it's nice. And then the last shade that I would try is the Copper Peach 2nd row. Last column, 2nd row shade. Okay. So if you look, like, I can definitely tell you that the 1st row, the first half of the palette is not worth it. If you like the cool tone shade, this is a no for me. But if you look at the, like, it works. It just takes more time to build up. It just takes more work, and you need an expensive palette that can do a lot. That will do. That palette will do. For 50 something AUD, no. For $36, yeah. like I can do this. I look way better with like the iced tea palette, but this one is 38, I think, when I bought. This is more expensive, but the shadow from this brand, this palette is really great. See you. Okay, and the last part of the tutorial, where I will talk about the Revolution Forever Flawless Constellation palette. So there is 2, 6, 10, 13, and 15, and 17. No, 2, 6, 8, 10, 13, 15, and 17. So the shades are pressed pigment, not the amount, it's where it's placed. So there's 2, 2, 3. So there's 7 shades that are pressed pigment shade. Okay, I will just quickly blend this out. So this is why I love like these kind of brushes. It's like bam, 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 and then you're done. Sometimes it might be streaky, but you can just like finesse it with just tapping. I love this brush, so I abuse it too much. Then we set the face. So before we do anything with the eyes, this is a real difficult to open kind of a palette. So shade number 2, the pink one, shade shade number 2, the pink shade, this one, and this shade, no, the last shade, the number 10 shade, this shade, no, number 8, and then number 10, number 13, number 15, this one 15, and number 17, this shade. So most of the matte shadows here are a pressed pigment eyeshadow, so let's swatch them. So shade shade number 2 is called Jupiter, which is a pink shade. I will swatch. So this shade. Number 8, Mars. Really pigment and nice. Really pigment. Real pigments. Seriously? Serious taste. So number 8, it's a reddish brown shade, which is universal. Let's build this up, maybe. Not as strong as the first 2 shades, I would say. So the next shade is Venus. Okay, this definitely stain your eyes. Like the first shade and then the 4th shade. So this is the shade 10, called Venus, and then the next shade in here is Dimension, which is again a pink shade. And then number 15, Cosmic, which is a purple shade. I know that's not how you swatch and test out the color, but bear with me, it's nice. And then there's like retrograde. Again, it's a purpley shade. So, okay, out of like the 7 shade, the weaker shade are definitely the third and the last shade. Also, I've tried the palette already in store and I've tested some shades. The shimmery blue, so this night sky shade, 5th shade here. You have to definitely rub a lot. It's not the strongest shade. Now it swatch fine, but when you swatch it with a brush, definitely weaker. And then the shade Neptune, that it looks bright, but when you swatch it, you can see the tail. Most of the pigments are here. The tail it's a little weaker. So what I would do here with the shades, the gunmetal shades are really nice. I'm not sure. Maybe one pink and one that's more purpley toned. Very unsure what to do. So the only matte shade here, this shade up here, the shade number 18 called Australis, is not a pressed pigment. So they're all of the matte shadow except for this one are pressed pigments. A lot of pinks here. Okay, let's try something. So I will start with Venus in this shade, very powdery shade, knock off the excess, really extremely powdered. So this is like the more expensive, like kind of like eyeshadow and Revolution kind of like this then in their series, which I can tell that their like more expensive eyeshadow is like worth their like price. It's like third of, it's 3 times of like the cheaper ones, but the quality is definitely amped up. You can see this pink shade. The blue shade isn't weak, it's just you have to build it up. I don't think there's any weak shade in here. I've like tried swatch, tested out on my face. I don't think there's a weak shade here. It's just like it's just not as like strong. I'm using the shade Cosmic. It's really powdery. Okay, pack the outer corner. Just pack it. Like good quality shadows doesn't have to be made in the US. It could be made in some like China. It could be made in Italy. Like poor eyeshadow could be made in US. It's all about where, how much, how is it produced, and how they made it. It's not about like sometimes when you like when you're very used to like the meme where people tell you that anything that's Chinese made they explode. Like even my iPhone, your computer is made in China. Some of the components, their raw material came from China. And does it explode? Don't think so. Okay, and then the next thing that we will do is something crazy. We'll be using a gunmetal shade. Why not? So I will use the shade Cluster. It's the .11 shade. Okay. grab a bunch and then just place it. Oh, oh! It's this palette. You're not buying pinks and purples in this palette. You're buying this gunmetal shade here. This is worth $1 million. No, just kidding. Like, this is really good. Like, I can feel the difference when I apply this. It's much thinner in the consistency, which isn't a bad thing. It's much more like thinner. The texture is much more nicer. And then I will use the shade Fractal. This shade, very silvery shade, to apply into the inner corner. Actually, use this brush to slightly wing it out. Really nice. Oh, the shade that I've tried. I'll show you the blue. It's just not as good. Nothing against the brand or nothing against any people, but it's just the blue is not good. Blue is the most difficult shade to make, but can you see? Okay, there's some purple from the last swatch, so but can you see the difference from this to the last look that I just did? This is much better. I feel like this is even better than the Makeup Geek one. Again, I retract my statement saying that the Pixi one is better than the Makeup Geek. No, it's definitely on par. On par. It means that's not good. Okay, I will use let's use the purple shade Spiral using a packing brush. This shade, this purple shade, just pack it in the middle. When they say it's pressed pigment, it's just, I feel like this term is so abused these days that it doesn't mean much other than it's just a really, I'm using the shade Fractal in the inner corner. I feel like the name is so abused these days that it doesn't really mean much other than it's like really strong pigment, colorful, really simple eye looks again. It really doesn't mean much other than it's like a punch of color or colorful looks. It's just marketing terms. Let's see the ingredient list. It's so the ingredients for the pressed pigments. Oh, pressed pigment, the shade number 2 and A and number 2, they have like eye staining dyes. They are mica and talc. They have mica and talc in it. So in the US, it's not safe to use on eyes for like FDA don't approve those natural dyes. Not natural dyes, those are like synthetic dyes, but in the EU they allow it to use. So the stickers, when they speak in French, they have the eye on, but for the English version, they cross out the eye and they say it's face only. So these shade might stain the eyes, especially the pink and purples, and if you use them, just use it at your own risk. Some people are allergic to them. So this is my video. Thanks for watching, and let's conclude which palette is my favorite. And clearly there's one favorite, there's two favorites. So these are my favorites: the Flawless, Forever Flawless, Constellation, and Neutralize. Nude eyeshadow palette from Australis. These are the bangers. This one is good for the price, for the amount that you get, but I don't recommend you to buy this one just because of the shade. You buy this because you want eyeshadow, you want to try the colors. And this one, it's like some good shades, some of them doesn't work, nice quality. Don't expect much from like the darker shades or the more ashy shades. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you in my next video. Please like and comment. That's all I want. Not all I want, but that's what I really want to see you do. Bye!